We have the New Orleans Saints going against the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington, Texas. This is your Week 2 2024 prediction and preview video. Hit subscribe button if you're new. Also hit the like button. Let's start off with the Dallas Cowboys because they are the home team. They completely destroyed the Cleveland Browns on every single front, offensively and defensively as well, especially defensively. Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, the entire defense was all over Deshaun Watson for the entire game. They had 6 sacks on the day. And you may say that Deshaun Watson is not the same player that he was many years ago, which is true. But let's give the Dallas Cowboys a lot of credit. In Mike Zimmer's debut as the brand new defensive coordinator for the season, he coached up a hell of a game. And I want to start off with their defense. You have to go out there against Derek Carr and put a lot of pressure on him. That is one thing that he struggled with last season. Derek Carr and many quarterbacks in the NFL, they're completely different when you put pressure in their face. The good thing with the Dallas Cowboys, they've had one of the best pass rushing units in the NFL over the last few years, even when Dan Quinn first got here to coach up the team. Their defense is very good with Michael Parsons, Eric Kendricks now, who had a phenomenal game last week. He was all over the place, making tackles, making plays on the football, and he was getting interceptions as well. Michael Parsons has to go out there and set the tone. The New Orleans Saints offensive line on paper is still a huge question mark. They didn't give up much pressure last week against the Carolina Panthers, but that's the Carolina Panthers. We're talking about a team that can go out there and generate pressure like it's no tomorrow with the guys that they have. So I'm looking at the front 7 of the Dallas Cowboys to really dictate this game. If they can go off like how they did last week and they can put that pressure on Derek Carr, you could go out there and win this football game. Now, it's not going to be as easy as it was last week because the Saints have some very good playmakers with Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. But it's going to come down to putting that pressure on Derek Carr and pressing up on those wide receivers of the New Orleans Saints. You can do that with Chris Olave because you have Trayvon Diggs. Like I mentioned last week, you don't have Deron Bland. He's going to miss the next month or so dealing with a foot injury. And he was one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL from last season. Last week, they didn't miss him. Jordan Lewis played a good game last week, and Kalen Carson played very good as well. So I'm looking at the secondary of the Dallas Cowboys. Build off of consistency. Do what you did last week. Trayvon Diggs also walked away with an interception. You look at Trayvon Diggs, he'll give up some big plays here and there, but they're going to come with some big time plays, some interceptions or some pick sixes. And I also want to go against that argument as well with Trayvon Diggs that he's going to give up a huge play. It's very rare now. When he was a rookie, he did give up a lot of yards. As the years have progressed, he's gotten better. He's not giving up those same plays anymore on double moves. He is now sticking with the wide receiver. So it'll be very interesting to see how he plays against Chris Olave. That is my key matchup to watch for the Dallas Cowboys on the defensive side of the ball. But you look at them defensively, damn near perfect from what they did last week. Run that same game plan with Mike Zimmer and go out there and stop the run. Watch Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield. The New Orleans Saints have a brand new offensive coordinator in Clint Kubiak. He was able to stretch the field last week. Not saying that they won't be able to do that in this game. They may still try to do that, but they may bluff you. They may go out there and go with a whole bunch of wide receivers going deep down the field, and the next thing you know, Alvin Kamara is on a delay route, and they just dump the football down to him for 5 to 10 yards. And that could go for a first down, and that could keep the chains moving. Also be on lookout for Taysom Hill as well. The Saints have a lot of key weapons. They're not highly regarded weapons around the NFL circles, but they can go out there and they can give you a lot of matchup problems. As far as the offense for the Dallas Cowboys, right before the game started, it was announced that Dak Prescott got a major contract extension, and he went out there and he played fine. He did not have to do much in the game. They played through their defense. That is the way that the Dallas Cowboys can really just go out there and be successful in this season. Are they going to be able to do that every single week? No, but we know that Dak Prescott is capable of putting up 4 to 5 passing touchdowns in a single game. He's done it a lot in the past. I don't think that he's going to be able to do it in this game because the Saints defense, they're very tough, especially on the back end. The key to victory here, offensively, get the run game going like how you did last week. Ezekiel Elliott had 10 carries for 40 yards. He had 1 rushing touchdown. His longest rush of the day was 9 yards. Rico came in, gave you some good snaps. They ran some end-around plays with CeeDee Lamb. Don't force it. That's the one thing that you don't have to do in this game. Do not force CeeDee Lamb or Brandon Cooks to football. It's okay. Try to get the run game going behind the offensive line. And by the way, the offensive line last week did have a lot of good moments, had some bad moments as well. Dak Prescott got sacked 3 times. Some of the time, he was just holding on to the football for too long. Guys were not getting open. But I thought the offensive line overall, they played very well, especially with Cooper Beebe at the center position. And you also look at the other young players on this offensive line. Tyler Guyton is a very good left tackle. I like what he was able to do last week. Tyler Smith, he's there at the guard position. We know that he can be an all-pro. Zach Martin is one of the best guards in the NFL. Terrence Steele, can he continue to play consistent? Because last season wasn't the best season for him. And I do worry about this offensive line because New Orleans Saints, they can get after the quarterback with Carl Granderson and also with Cameron Jordan as well. Cameron Jordan may not have the high sack numbers, but he could put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. But Dak Prescott has done relatively well when he has been pressured in the past. It's just going to come down to, can he take care of the football, and can the Dallas Cowboys run the football with the running back by committee approach? We will see, because if you get into a tough situation when it's a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, just give the football to Ezekiel Elliott. He doesn't have the same juice that he had a couple of years ago, but he is a sledgehammer running back, especially in goal line situations as well. And I was shocked to see that he was able to go out there and average 4 yards a carry last week. You just love to see that because it's a bounce back story with Ezekiel Elliott. Also, be on lookout to see if they try to bring in Deuce Vaughn as well. We'll see about all of that. But when I look at the Dallas Cowboys offense and their defense, they're pretty prepped to go out there and win this football game. And they're playing the first home game as well. So you know the crowd's going to be crazy. One thing about Cowboy fans, they love their team and they're going to show up. But let's talk about the New Orleans Saints, because the Saints aren't too far away from Texas. So you know some Saints fans are going to be in the crowd as well. The Saints are riding high. They beat the brakes off the Carolina Panthers last week, to put it lightly. They beat them 47-10. Now, do I see the New Orleans Saints coming out here and running over the Dallas Cowboys? No. But their defense can go out there and they can cause the Cowboys a lot of problems. Last week, they forced Bryce Young to throw 2 interceptions. You're not going to have the same luck against Dak Prescott. He is a way better quarterback than Bryce Young is. But one thing that was a constant with the Saints last week was their pass rush. They were able to go back there and sack Bryce Young and pressure him on more than 40% of his dropbacks. Bring that over into this game as well. Alontae Taylor is a cornerback, a very good cover corner. The man had 3 sacks last week coming off of blitzes. I don't see that happening in this game. But if it does happen, the Saints will probably go out there and win another blowout game. Alontae Taylor, continue to blitz him off the side if the Dallas Cowboys are not going to recognize it, but also be on lookout for him in that secondary. Is he going to go against a guy like Brandon Cooks? Is he going to match it with the 3rd wide receiver of the Dallas Cowboys? Because we all know if Marshawn Lattimore is fully healthy, right now he's dealing with a minor injury and he's questionable to play in this game against the Cowboys. If he's fully healthy, he's going to be matched up with CeeDee Lamb. Hip on hip action. For sure. The secondary with the Saints, that's their strong suit of their defense. Even when they're dealing with injuries, they're so deep at that position. They have guys like Paulson Adebo, who is very good, Marshawn Lattimore, who is their true number 1 corner, Alontae Taylor, and they drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry as well, who can be a very good rising star in the NFL for years to come. So get Dak Prescott uncomfortable inside the pocket with Carl Granderson, Cameron Jordan, and also be on lookout for Chase Young as well in this game. Chase Young, you may say that he's an overrated pass rusher here and there. This is the thing about Chase Young. When that motor is going, he is a very good football player, and they're going to need him to step up. Stop the run game of the Cowboys and make them one-dimensional. In the past, when Dak Prescott had to go out there and fully carry the offense, he'll have some moments to where he looked great. Then he will also have moments to where it make you scratch your head and say, hey, he's throwing an interception here. What was he doing? So try to force Dak Prescott to throw the football more, because that's the same strong suit. Not to say that Dak Prescott can't go out there and carry the Cowboys, because he can. But the Saints defensive backs, they're not just your regular secondary. You also have Tyrann Mathieu as well, who is still a very good safety in the NFL. Do not sleep on the Saints defense. When I look at the offense for the New Orleans Saints, Clint Kubiak called a very good game plan last week. You need to carry that over. You need to be consistent. They gave up some big plays. I'm talking about the Panthers defense. They gave up a lot of big plays last week to the Saints. Derek Carr had a hell of a day. He had one of the best stat lines for a quarterback last week. Derek Carr had 200 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. And he was only sacked once. But they were more creative with getting guys open down the field. With Rashid Shaheed, who had a beautiful deep bomb play early in the game that went for 59 yards. Get him going. You also have two very good tight ends. I like Jawan Johnson, but you look at Foster Monroe as well. He went out there. He had a good day. He had a receiving touchdown. Get those tight ends going with Taysom Hill, who you could put in the quarterback position. You could put him in at fullback. You could put him in the slot. Use him as a chess piece, especially on those third down situations and in the red zone as well. This is not going to be as an easy game for the Saints to win, and the same for the Cowboys either. This is going to be a tough matchup because of the defenses, but more on the Saints offense. You have to take care of Derek Carr. It comes down to the offensive line protection as well. That's the biggest concern with me and the Saints moving forward, because they don't have Ryan Ramczyk for the rest of the season. He's going to miss all of this season because he's still dealing with a knee injury. Trevor Penning played well last week. Can he continue to do that against a front seven that has Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence with them? And the same with Talasi Fuaga as well, who is a rookie at the left tackle position. Eric McCoy, you have him at the center position, and Cesar Ruiz. If the Saints can go out there and win, it's really going to be on the back of their offensive line, their protection. We know if Derek Carr has enough time in the pocket, he can be a very good quarterback. He can go out there and put the football where it needs to be, especially to Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. And speaking of Chris Olave, you would think that the Saints would have given him at least 15 targets last week because they scored 47 points. That was not the case. Chris Olave only had 2 catches for 11 yards. That was it. Get him going early because you're going to need him in this game to win against the Cowboys. With that being said, these are two tough teams right now. They're both riding high. You have Dennis Allen, who is trying to go out there and coach for revenge because his coaching record is not the best. And you have Mike McCarthy, who is the only person that did not get paid over this offseason by the Cowboys. He's on the last year of his deal. This is an NFC matchup. I am taking the Cowboys to win this one, but it's going to be in close fashion. I have the Dallas Cowboys winning this game 28-24. I think that the front seven of the Cowboys will get them over the edge, and I think that Dak Prescott can outduel Derek Carr. But if the offensive line can step up with the Saints, they can go out there and they can win this game by a field goal. But I still have more trust in the front seven of the Cowboys. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you guys have winning this game? The Dallas Cowboys or the New Orleans Saints? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.